Reconnaissance and scanning. In this section, we're going to take a look at what is reconnaissance, working with Nmap, Shodan for scanning, and other types of reconnaissance. What is reconnaissance? Reconnaissance is the gathering of information on targets to penetrate or exploit using various methods. In this course, we're going to break up ethical hacking into 3 phases. Reconnaissance being the first phase, scanning being the second phase, and finally, exploitation in the third phase. We're going to put reconnaissance and scanning in the same section. Reconnaissance can be further split into 3 separate sections: passive footprinting, active footprinting, and vulnerability research. Passive footprinting is where we use public information to gain knowledge about our target. Usually, going about with public information, there's less likely a chance of you being picked up by your target that you're looking to gain access to them. So an example of this could be you can search the target website. For example, for job listings. Let's say, for example, there's a job listing for a certain MySQL database engineer, and they list the version of MySQL. Now you know the version that the target uses of MySQL, and you can start to look for exploits based on that version of MySQL. Another example of passive footprinting is website mirroring or crawling. This is where you can download target's entire website and find out a little bit more about how their website is structured, perhaps. Look for vulnerabilities there or within their website. Another example of passive footprinting is email analysis. In this example, we can take a look at the header information to gain some knowledge into our target. So website mirroring, we can use httrack website copier located at the following address, www.httrack.com. This is an open source tool that you can see we can download an entire website and take a look at how it's structured. In email analysis, we can take a look at the header information from an email that we may send to the target. In this example, I have sent an email to Google, and we can see in this example various IP addresses. We can see an MX record here, and we can see some DNS information here. Here's an SMTP server here. It helps us gain information about topology, perhaps. Active footprinting is where we take some more steps where we can actually get caught, and we actually put a little more effort into pinging the target system. So examples of active footprinting are social engineering and human interaction. We can also do a DNS zone transfer here. So social engineering and human interaction. An example of that would be calling to ask for information, calling the company up and pretending to be maybe perhaps a service employee or someone affiliated with that company to gain information. Another example of social engineering or human interaction is dumpster diving, and that's where you actually go through the target's trash looking for documents with information on network topology, passwords, that kind of thing. DNS zone transfer. So DNS stands for domain name server, and the domain name server on a network contains some valuable information, contains records, and these records translate the names to IP addresses. This is handy information because it gives us a layout of the network's topology, and we can see a little bit of how things are structured. And lastly, we'll go into vulnerability research. Vulnerability research is very important, and this is where we actually look up the flaws that are within these systems that we can then attempt to penetrate. One great source is the National Vulnerability Database located at nvd.nist.gov. Here we can search for specific products that have known vulnerabilities. Another resource we can use for vulnerability research is CVE, located at the website www.cvedetails.com. And as you can see here, there are many different vulnerabilities we can look up by vendors, by products. We can do a search for products. We can go by a score of the number of vulnerabilities and look up various information that way. Here's an example. Here's a Zen. Here's a vulnerability within the OS Zen. So we can look up these vulnerabilities and attempt to find exploits to break in. And another great resource is Secure Team at http://securiteam.com. You can see here we have featured articles on various products that have vulnerabilities. Cisco, ImageMagick is a program that is listed here. Adobe Acrobat, memory overflow vulnerability. There we go, lists what systems are vulnerable. And I believe you can even sign on to a mailing list to get emailed whenever a new vulnerability is listed. In our next video, we're going to be working with Nmap.